The second round is finally here, and things are really starting to heat up inside the NBA bubble. One of the more interesting second round matchups has to be the one of Milwaukee and Miami, as in my eyes, a potential upset is on the cards. In today's video, I will be taking a look at the second round matchup for the Milwaukee Bucks and Miami Heat and predicting the series, each team's strengths and weaknesses, the players who need to step up, the key to success, every little detail. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that all being said, let's take a look at this second round matchup. The Milwaukee Bucks have been solid in the playoffs so far. After a poor game 1 where the Magic managed to upset them, the Bucks cruised throughout the rest of the series and ended up giving Orlando a gentleman's sweep. Giannis was dominant as per usual, and though Khris Middleton was struggling at the start of the series, he's starting to find his form. After the long break, it's fair to say that the Bucks haven't been playing up to insane standards like they were prior to the break, but I think they are starting to refine that form as of late, which is good to see. The Miami Heat have been amazing these playoffs too, as they swept the 4th seed Pacers. Jimmy Butler was just one of those players playing amazing that series, averaging 20 points a game and playing very good defense, as the Heat managed to lock up TJ Warren and Victor Oladipo. Tyler Herro and Goran Dragic were also extremely good as well, and the Heat look like they're in red hot form right now. They're probably the most on fire team in the league, if I'm being honest. The Bucks are going to be a challenge, but I think the Heat can make this series a lot more interesting than it seems on the surface. So, with that said, what are the strengths and weaknesses of each team, and how will they help or disadvantage them this round? Let's take a look at Milwaukee's strengths first. Milwaukee's biggest strength that I can think of has to be their defense. Though they give up a lot of 3-pointers every game, they still have a top-tier NBA defense that shuts down a lot of teams and makes them so dangerous to come up against. Their defensive system has allowed Giannis to win Defensive Player of the Year, and again, has kept a lot of good offensive teams at bay. The only issue that I have here with Milwaukee, and I'll go over it more in a bit, is that Miami have the best 3-point percentage in the league. As a team that gives up so many threes, that could be a problem, but we'll have to wait and see how they go. Another strength for Milwaukee is their rebounding. Due to their elite defense and pretty tall lineups overall, the Bucks are one of the league's best rebounding teams, a top 5 team in rebounds per game. Against a team that was dominant on the offensive rebounds last series, this is going to be crucial for the Bucks and their success. So those are the strengths of Milwaukee, but what about their weaknesses? I know I said this was a strength of theirs, but the Bucks' 3-point defense in particular is a big weakness for them. Their overall defense is phenomenal, but as I've mentioned, when it comes to 3-point shots, the Bucks just aren't good at defending that. I know they give up a lot of shots from there intentionally, but still, I feel like this could cost them this round. Though teams only make 35.6% from deep against Milwaukee too, the problem lies in the frequency, not the efficiency. Teams shoot close to 43 pointers a game against the Bucks, the most in the league. And again, against a team like the Heat, the best shooting team in the league from 3 per 3-point percentage, this style defense may be costly in the second round series. So those are the strengths and weaknesses of the Milwaukee Bucks. But what about the Miami Heat? A big strength of the Miami Heat has to be their 3-point shooting. The Heat are tied first in the NBA for 3-point shooting percentage with the Utah Jazz on 38%. And this is thanks to guys like Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro, etc. shooting lights out throughout the season. When the Heat shoot threes, they get very good looks, and to have sharpshooters like Robinson obviously helps too. As I've mentioned plenty times by now, the Bucks give up a lot of threes, so hopefully that percentage can stay the same for the Heat this series, as it could earn them the win. Another strength of Miami's is their team chemistry. The reason why the Heat are so good this season is because they mesh so well with each other. This team has probably the best chemistry out of any team in the league, and though that is hard to measure, you can just see it when they're out there. I think this is in large thanks to Jimmy Butler, whose work ethic and leadership has inspired this otherwise mediocre team. And now, with their friendly banter, competitiveness, and most importantly, respect for each other, they've become a very cohesive team. In a Slam interview, Bam Adebayo said the Heat in previous seasons used to have little groups of friends on the team, not really one big group. That has changed this season, and it's pretty obvious on the court to me, which has hugely benefited this team. So those are the strengths of the Miami Heat. But what about their weaknesses? The biggest weakness I can think of for Miami is their transition offense and overall fast break scoring. Due to their slow pace, the Heat are one of the worst teams in the NBA at running the fast break, and that's seen with their bottom 5 fast break points per game. I'm not sure if this will have too big of an impact on them this series, considering in the playoffs the game slows down a lot more, but we'll have to wait and see. But this is definitely an issue for the Heat nonetheless. So those are the strengths and weaknesses of both teams. Now, let's take a look at a player or two from each team that needs to step up this series in order for their team to have the best chance at winning. We'll start with the Bucks. The player on the Bucks who needs to step up has to be Khris Middleton. In the first round series against the Magic, Middleton was playing pretty atrociously, if I'm being honest, excluding a couple of games. For the series, Middleton averaged 13.5 points per game, 7 rebounds and 5 assists, and shot a horrific 34% from the field. In this second round, Middleton must find his groove because the Heat are going to throw everything at Giannis. So if Antetokounmpo doesn't have a secondary star to rely on to get his team out of trouble if he is struggling, the Bucks may be in deep water. If Khris plays well, it throws a spanner in the works of Miami's game plan, so he's really a key piece to the Bucks' success this series. His play lately has just been so poor, it really needs to improve as soon as possible, because otherwise I really struggle to see the Bucks winning this series. The player that needs to step up for the Heat in my opinion is Duncan Robinson. And it's not because he was playing bad. He just needs to take the opportunities he's likely to be given, and that's in terms of 3-point shots. As I've mentioned many times already, the Bucks give up a lot of threes, so as someone who is a very streaky shooter, but when is on fire, can't be stopped, Robinson needs to make the most of this series and punish the Bucks, make them switch up their game plan. We've seen what he can do versus Indiana, so he just needs to continue that hot form into the second round and basically make the Bucks pay for the lax coverage. If he can do that, the Heat are a real chance to disrupt the Bucks and pull off an upset, in my eyes. The key to success for Milwaukee is being consistent. I think in their first round matchup against Orlando, most of the Bucks players really struggled to provide consistent performances, and though that wasn't an issue against a team like Orlando, it will be against a legit contender in Miami. Middleton, Lopez, all of them need to step up and help out Giannis because he's going to have a huge target on his back. If they can't, I'm just not sure if they can win this series. I'm sorry. The key to success for the Heat has to be shutting down Giannis. The Bucks don't have any other shot creators if we're being honest, so if you minimize Giannis's impact, the Bucks are basically done for. I think the Heat can do so with Adebayo. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. But yeah, the Heat must slow Giannis down as much as possible. They cannot let him run rampant. So, with that all being said, after looking at the strengths and weaknesses of each team, after looking at the players who need to step up and the key to success, it is time for my final prediction. Who wins this series, in my opinion? Well, I'm really torn here, I'm going to be honest. My gut is telling me Milwaukee and my head is telling me Miami, so I'm not too sure. To me, it really all comes down to how well Giannis Antetokounmpo plays and if the Heat can slow him down. So, I think I'll go with this prediction. I think the Miami Heat will win this in 7, and here is why. Though my gut is telling me Bucks in 6, the more and more I look at it, I think the Miami Heat are a real shot at winning this series. The Miami Heat are one of the best teams in the NBA at shooting the 3-ball, and the Milwaukee Bucks are probably the worst team in the league defending the 3. They give up a lot of shots from there. The Heat also aren't a great team on the road, but they are now playing in a neutral environment, which as we've seen has been a huge beneficiary to their success in the restart. And against a team like the Bucks, I think having home court advantage taken away will be huge. In terms of keeping Giannis at bay, though Bam Adebayo is by no means a Giannis stopper, he does possess the athleticism to keep up with him and neutralize his attacking drives on the rim. During this season, the Heat held the Bucks to their lowest point total on the season, 89 points, and were up by double digits on the Bucks when they played in the bubble without Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic. Though the Heat struggle to hold on to leads, they do have a reliable closer in Butler, which the Bucks really do not. With that all being said, no matter how much I believe in the Bucks and Giannis, for some reason, I just can't see them winning this series. If you have them winning it, I can't blame you. It could go either way, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to go with the Heat in 7 games. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? Who do you have winning this series? The Bucks or the Heat? Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.